How you doing, YouTube? Matt, Massive Beer Reviews, back with yet another review. A little bit one of those, fruited, sour, crazy bonkers beers in the form of a Dub Blackout Tastee from the Vail Brewing Company. This is the second Tastee beer I'm going to be reviewing. I forget what the first one was, but that one actually came from a colleague of mine, guy who works at the same company I do, brought back some beer from down Vail Way, brought me those back. This one actually comes per my fantasy football winnings. By now, I probably have posted my fantasy football haul. If I haven't, keep a lookout for that. But won a fantasy football league that was a beer league, and this is one of the beers I got. So as far as what's on here, label-wise, it says Dub Black Tastee, Vail Brewing Company, recycle or die, keep cold, drink today. And here it says it's a double blackberry and black currant smoothie style sour ale with lactose, 5.5% alcohol by volume, done and done. Label-wise, it's cool. You know, it's ice cream cone and it's, kind of purple. What are you gonna do? I remember there's not even a hiss coming out of this thing. Jesus, these things are those. Look at this. This Blackberry all over my hands. It's probably gonna stain my goddamn everything. Anyway, these beers are notorious because they explode. They are filled with so much fruit. And there's so much residual fermentable sugar left when they actually put the beer into cans that these are pretty much either drink it immediately or keep it really cold the whole time. Otherwise, they can actually blow on you. So that's they're a bit notorious. What do we have here? I mean, it doesn't really look much like traditional beer. It definitely looks like a fruit beer. It's got a rich, heavy, dense, blueberry, pinkish kind of head to it. Relatively creamy stuff, and then she's just got that thick with 8 C's kind of just fruit smoothie kind of body going on. So she definitely looks the part of one of those kind of fruited sours. But yeah, these things are notorious for blowing up. Oddly enough, I sent one of these to the UK and it didn't blow up, and I was super excited about that. It was just a box. I knew the dude who was going to dig it, Gary. He sent me a beer mail. You can go back about a year from now and look at the stuff that he sent me, a bunch of UK-based beers. Anyway, and that one made it, so I was kind of lucky in that respect. But yeah, she looks the part of a big, huge, berried kind of fruit beer. Burps. Let's see what the nose has. Yeah, I mean, you're just getting soft, rich red, kind of raspberry, blueberry kind of fruit notes off of it. A very subtle tartness to the point where you're like, okay, this isn't really a sour beer. You could be like, I might be getting some of that tartness from the actual fruit portion of the show. And the lactose is even very, very light-handed. This is about 1-2 months old. Came out in November 2018, the 21st. This is right around the 21st of January 2019, so only about 2 months old. But yeah, soft, sweetened fruits, but not super sweet. A little bit of soft, kind of slightly tart note to it, and that's pretty much it. Really not that big of a nose on her. Let's dive in. Cheers. Yeah, I mean, it tastes like a fruit smoothie. And that's kind of where all these land. Sure, you're getting those big kind of blueberry, raspberry, boysenberry kind of black currant kind of vibes from it. Those big, rich kind of fruited vibes from it. But that's pretty much the leading factor in the beer in general. There's a soft tartness to it, very soft kind of kettle sour tartness to it. That kind of, like I said, would eke up if it was just a fruit beer in general. There's a soft grain profile, nothing too distinct, but it's there. And that's pretty much it. It's probably a little bit more towards beer than the last Tastee I had, but at the same time, it's definitely beer adjacent rather than being a kind of just straight up beer. It's tasty, though. That's the thing. You want to talk about beer and you want to judge it the way you want to judge it, whether you want to be like, is it into style? Is it a beer? If you just strip it down to brass taxes, is it a tasty beverage? It absolutely is a tasty beverage. You get that fruit up front. It comes off really fresh. It comes off really authentic. And it, as much as I like to call it, it's very kind of fruit smoothie-esque. It doesn't have that kind of dense, kind of grainy texture to it. It's more kind of a thick New England style IPA kind of texture to it. But since that fruit is so in the forefront and the beer is so small, the beer portion of the show gets hidden. So that's kind of what I'm talking about when it's kind of outside of normal beer realm. But it's tasty, literally and figuratively. It's a tasty beer. I keep saying beer. It's a tasty beverage. It drinks well. It's nice. I could probably drink like 8 of these if I wanted to. I wouldn't want to because that would almost be like when I just get some kind of, kind of shake, non-alcoholic shake. But it's tasty. The fruit shows well. It's kind of a little bit closer, like I said, beer adjacent than the previous Tastee I had. But at the same time, it's definitely kind of has more to do with fruited beverage than beer itself. I like the gentleness of the lactose, though. It adds just enough sweetness to make everything kind of work. I think if you didn't have that in there, it would just be a little bit too one-sided, a little bit too fruity, a little too vegetal-like. So even though that lactose isn't over the top in your face, I think it does its job really well. Let's talk about it. It's one of the better fruited sours I've had as of late. It's tasty as hell. No, it's not one of the better fruited sours. Those I'll kind of reserve for kind of the lambic portion of the show. But is it one of those new school kind of heavily fruited sour, whatever you want to call it, answer kind of juice kind of beers? Yes. The Veil and the Answer for me are the ones that do it and do it as well as anybody does do it. So if you're into those kind of beers, then you'll definitely dig this one. Brewery only. Probably $20 for a 4-pack, I'm assuming. And like I just said, if you're into these kind of fruited beers, this is definitely going to do you proper. There you go. Another review in the books. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Down there if you want to talk about it. Massive Beers if you want to check me out doing the social media stuff. Beer Massive if you want to check me out doing the whole podcasting thing. And hopefully you guys enjoyed the review. Hopefully enjoying a nice little tasty jam right now. Hope we'll see you next time. Cheers.